council meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nico Reynoso.
Present.
Councilman Rafael Pinedo.
Present.
Councilwoman Dina Cabral.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wayne Porras.
Here.
Mayor Christy Fraga.
Present.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Pinedo. Okay, do we have anything for the agenda order of business? I don't believe there's any additions or deletions at this time. Okay, being none, we'll move into public comments. The public comments portion of this meeting is now open. If anyone would like to speak on anything on this agenda or anything germane to this council, please approach the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak in a respectful manner towards this council. I have no comment cards at this time. Public comments is now closed. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that no one has chosen to speak at this time. And we'll now move into the discussion items.
Discussion item 5A, a resolution of the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Doral, Florida, approving settlement terms with Doral 10 LLC, providing for implementation, incorporation of recitals, and an effective date.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, this is your item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I've discussed this matter with all of you individually. For years, since 2019, the City of Doral has been in litigation with several entities, among them Doral 10 LLC and JV Engineering Contractor. Back in 2019, as many of you are aware, there was a road project on 102nd Avenue. The plaintiff in this matter, Doral 10, owned property that was adjacent to that road project, and at some point in time, our contractor did go onto their land and did put different pilings, of which were alleged to have some type of contaminant. During this period of time, we have litigated this matter. Recently, there was a ruling in the federal court that was not favorable necessarily to the city. And based on all the conversations and discussions that we've had, we've reached what is before you an agreement. Under this agreement, the city would buy the land owned by Doral 10. Its two folio numbers, which are listed 35-317-001-0210 and 35-3107-001-0208. One of the areas is zoned more residential, the other one commercial. So the city would buy it for a sum of $17.2 million. There are around that number. It's not completely that part settled. And the second part would be to go ahead and settle on other matters. We do have a contribution from JVA, and the total amount is the sum of $21 million. So for the sum of $21 million, there's a portion that would be, and don't quote me exactly on the amount that I just mentioned, is a part that will be for the purchase of the land, the settlement of all disputes, and at the same time, we are receiving a contribution from JVA, the co-defendant, and also from our insurance carrier. This is not a perfect deal by no stretch. There's no such thing as a perfect deal when you have a mediation and you mediate. There's a lot of give and take, but at the end, I do believe that this is in the city's best interest.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. City Attorney. Any questions for the City Attorney at this time? Yes, Councilman Pinedo, you have the
Thank
floor.
you, Mayor. No, I just want to say great job. You guys did great.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
All right, if there's no other questions, we need a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo, second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras.
Yes.
Mayor Fraga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. All right, we move on to the next item. Madam Clerk, I think you need to swear in the witnesses.
Yes, Madam Mayor. If you will be presenting testimony in any of the public hearing items, please stand up, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that the information I'm about to present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much. First item, item 6A, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving the site plan for UF Communications LLC for plus or minus 2.49 acres of the property located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, Doral, Florida, pursuant to section 53-184F of the city's land development code and providing for an effective date.
Madam Clerk, I believe that the planning and zoning director wanted to take up all three items together. So would you want to read them all into the record?
Item 6B, ordinance number 2025-01, Collection Suites 2 Land Use Amendment, an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving a small-scale land use amendment to the city of Doral Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map to change the land use category from Business B to Industrial I for a plus or minus 1.25 acre parcel of land located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, providing for incorporation recitals, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date. This was approved on first reading on January 15th. Item 6C, ordinance number 2025-02, Collection Suites 2 rezoning. An ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving an amendment to the city's official zoning map from Commercial Corridor District CC to Industrial Commercial District IC for a plus or minus 1.25 acre parcel of land located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, providing for incorporation of recitals, conflicts, severability, and an effective date. This was approved on first reading on January 15th.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open up public hearing. The public hearing item is now open for item 25-6025, 25-5973, and 25-5974. Anyone who would like to speak on these items, please approach the podium at this time. I have no comment cards. Okay, being none, public comments is now closed. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect no one has chosen to speak at this time. I will now take any ex parte communications from anyone on the dais. Has there been any ex parte communications? No. Okay, I did speak with the applicant, but just for the purposes of the situation that came before us with the two differences in the zoning. So making sure that this got done in an expeditious manner so that it would not delay their project and it will not affect my decision. I will now hear from the Planning and Zoning Director. Michelle, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The applicant, UF Communications LLC, has a project that we refer to as the Collection Suites located at 6010 Northwest 107th Avenue. The applicant has 3 applications before you this evening. The first application is an amendment to your future land use map from business to industrial. The second application is rezoning from commercial corridor to industrial corridor. And the third application is the site plan. So the first and second applications were heard at first reading on January 15th, 2025, and the site plan only requires 1 reading. The site plan effectively is for a luxury vehicle storage facility. It's actually phase 2 of a development that's already built just to the north. The facility will have a 1-story storage building, 26 feet in height, to include mezzanines, central showroom building, and separate office structure, totaling 56,954 square feet. Landscaping and open space is 20.3%, including a bioretention area that they refer to as a rain garden, totaling 4,500 square feet, which is important and critical for stormwater retention. So the project is located northwest of Northwest 58th Street and Northwest 102nd Avenue. It's landlocked, as you can see on the aerial visual up on your screens. The developer will build out Northwest 60th Street, which is a platted right-of-way as part of their site plan approval. Land uses surrounding the property to the northeast and west are industrial, with business land use to the south, and industrial commercial zoning district to the northeast and west, with commercial corridor district to the south. On the screen, you can see 2 visuals. One is an isometric of the property, and the second is a view of the access road east of the property. For the land use amendment, you'll see on the left side of your screen is the existing business flume designation, and then the proposed is industrial. Your business land use designation accommodates a range of sales service activities, including retail, wholesale, personal and retail services, commercial, professional offices, hotels, motels, hospitals, theaters, medical buildings, nursing homes, et cetera. These categories are limited to 6 stories in height. Landscaping is 15% minimum with floor area ratio of 0.5% and 0.25 for every additional floor thereafter. The industrial is intended for industries, manufacturing operations, warehouses, mini warehouses, offices, buildings, flex storage showrooms, and attached distribution and storage buildings. So that is a more compatible use with the applications presented before you this evening. Building height is limited to the width of the public right-of-way most closely situated to the property, with landscape of 15% open space. So the application, as I mentioned, is proposing over 20% open space, and the building height is 1 story. Companion application to your future land use map amendment is your rezoning from commercial corridor to industrial commercial, and you'll see the effective changes up on the screen. The existing is to your left, showing the commercial corridor, and the proposed is to the right, showing the industrial commercial. So there's 3 criteria that are required for a zoning change. The first, whether justified by changed or changing conditions. So as we discussed during first reading, your map was adopted in 2003. And since then, there have been site-specific changes, but no wholesale changes to the zoning map. And so when you look at a city, how it's developed 20 years later, you'll see that it makes sense to make changes as they arrive. So for this particular change in your map, you're gonna have less traffic and you're gonna have less impact to the surrounding area, so it makes sense. The second criteria is whether adequate sites already exist for the requested use district. As I mentioned earlier, the site just adjacent to the north of this facility is phase 1, very similar, compatible in use, and so the second criteria is met. And the third is whether specific requirements of this land development code are adequate to ensure compatibility with adjoining properties as required by the comprehensive plan. So by changing your land use designation from business to industrial, you meet this third category. And so the zoning change is supported by staff, as is the land use amendment. The third request is the site plan. And so up on the screen, you'll see 3 renderings and also a copy of the site plan. So essentially, the warehouse facility kind of wraps around in a U shape, and then internal to the site is your showroom and a smaller building for the manager's office. Again, 1 story in height, totaling 26 feet, and everything is nicely integrated within the site. There, as I mentioned, also there is a right-of-way that's being constructed. It's been platted, and that right-of-way will provide access to the site. And so when we look at site plans, right, your code has specific criteria that a site plan needs to comply with. Consistency with your comprehensive plan, that checks out with the land use amendment being proposed. Promote better site design, absolutely. You currently have a vacant site that's unutilized. Integration of project with more effectively into the surrounding environment, that has been complied with. Enhancing the property value, absolutely. You're building a Class A structure where no development currently exists. Ensure harmonious relationship among buildings, uses, and visitors. Again, there is an already operating very similar use immediately to the north. Protect the health, safety, and welfare of our residents and visitors. The site plan complies with that, and then obviously addressing any traffic concerns. The last criteria is not applicable to the proposed site plan. With that, staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the request for a future land use amendment from business to industrial and the request for rezoning from commercial corridor to industrial commercial, and for the eastern 1.25 acre portion of the property located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue. And staff also recommends approval of the proposed site plan for 2.49 acre, the entire portion site of 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I don't know if the applicant has anything to add.
I always feel guilty when I get up here. Graham Penn, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, on behalf of the applicant. We're here for any questions you may have. We have a presentation, but I'm going to defer it. I think Michelle did a great job explaining how this is going to be a compatible, high-end, low-impact use for this portion of the city. So we would ask for your approval tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, if there's no questions, any additional comments, then we will need a motion. These are the second readings, and we're gonna go ahead and take the motion on the first item.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, just read the item just for clarification.
Yes, ma'am. Item 6A, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving the site plan for UF Communications LLC for plus or minus 2.49 acres of the property located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, Doral, Florida, pursuant to section 53-184F of the city's land development code and providing for an effective date. Have a motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
I need a motion for the item.
Go ahead and just read it
Read
into
it?
the record, and
Okay.
then we'll take it.
Item B, ordinance number 2025-01, Collection Suites 2 Land Use Amendment. An ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving a small-scale land use amendment to the city of Doral comprehensive plan future land use map to change the land use category from B to I industrial for the property located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, providing for incorporation of recitals, conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, just for the purposes of the public hearing was already opened and closed, and we received the presentation from the Planning and Zoning Department. We need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-01 on second reading made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, please read the last item for this.
Item C, ordinance number 2025-02, Collection Suites 2 rezoning, and ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving an amendment to the city's official zoning map from Commercial Corridor District CC to Industrial Commercial District IC for a plus or minus 1.25 acre parcel of land located at 6010 Northwest 102nd Avenue, providing for incorporation of recitals, conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
All right, once again, for purposes of the public comments was already open and closed, and a presentation was done by our Planning and Zoning Department. I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-02 on second reading made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras? Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. Now we move on to item D.
Item 6D, ordinance number 2025-06, fiscal year 24-25 budget amendment. An ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, providing for an amendment increasing the general fund budget for fiscal year 24-25, the capital improvement fund budget for fiscal year 24-25, as reviewed, modified, and approved by the city council at the meetings held on January 15, 25, and January 27, 2025, providing for transmittal by the city clerk, implementation, incorporation of recitals, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
All right, we're opening the public comments portion at this time for this item. Item 25-6013. Anyone would like to speak, please approach the podium regarding this item and this item alone. I have no comment cards, being none. Public comments is now closed. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect no one has chosen to speak at this time. And I will now turn it over to the city manager's office, who I believe finance and our assistant city manager have a presentation.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Our Finance Director, Solange Perez, is going to be presenting on this item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members, Madam Clerk, Madam City Manager, and City Attorney. The fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed budget amendment is needed to fund various projects and unforeseen increases in expenses for the fiscal year 2025 budget. The changes from hearing one can be found in detail in the summary of changes attached to the item. We respectfully request that the mayor and city council members authorize and approve the amendment to the general fund and the capital improvement fund for fiscal year 24-25. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much. All right, this is the second reading of the budget amendment. If there's no questions, we need a motion to approve.
I have a question.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo on the floor. Is there a second?
I have some questions, Mayor.
You'll have an opportunity. Just
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Reynoso, and I believe Vice Mayor Porras has a question.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple questions, actually. The first one is on the removal of the $150,000 from DoorCam. The attorney, I know we spoke about this briefly. Can you share your opinion on the city's ability to remove funding that has already been allocated and noticed to a recipient, please?
My understanding is that while monies were placed in the budget, the recipient did not, we had no communications with the recipient. Recipient did not make any formal request for the funding. There was no agreement. There was no reliance by the recipient that he was ever going to receive those funds. So at this time, removing it doesn't prejudice the named person in that budget line item. All that was done was just put money into a particular line item that was, and then no action was, no further action was taken.
Thank you. My other question concerns the 3 positions that are being requested under the mayor's office, including the communications and protocol coordinator. We just got the salary range because we didn't have it during the first reading. The salary range for that position, and I just want to put it on record, is between $72,000 and $118,000. The constituent services coordinator between $51,000 and $77,000. And the Hispanic outreach coordinator salary range between $51,000 and $77,000. Now, just to confirm, all of these 3 positions requested by the mayor's office are working exclusively with the mayor's office, correct?
They will be reporting to the chief of staff of the mayor's office, but they work with mayor and council to handle constituent services, yes.
So they work with the entire council?
As does everyone here, yes.
Right. I want to clarify that because that's not what the job description says, actually.
The job description in the first paragraph, the last line says, this position reports to the chief of staff of the mayor.
Right. Okay, so, I mean, it's my understanding from this job description that it's only going to work with the mayor's office, but if you say so, you say so. I'm obviously not in support of adding more funding and allocating more funding to the mayor's office when we could, when we're diverting essentially this funding from other sources. I mean, there was a complaint about the use of under $4,000 for the vice mayor rotation things, and to me, asking for over $250,000 is really excessive. So I won't be supportive of that. My third question relates to the sergeant at arms. So through the manager, can we have the
Point of order. I believe you would like to discuss these items when we come up with the positions. Right now, we're discussing the budget amendment, where there's no allocation of specific funds for positions like the sergeant at arms. Those are not positions that are requiring additional funding. Some of these are reallocations or classifications. So I think your questions are more appropriate for the actual positions that are being requested, not for the actual budget portion of the meeting. So if that concludes your questions, we'll go ahead and call the roll.
Yeah, I can actually, that's fine. I can ask in the second one.
All right.
Can we actually let me see. Actually, no, I'll reserve for the next item. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-06 on second reading made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
No.
Vice Mayor Porras?
No.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read the next item into the record.
Item E, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, approving the job descriptions, applicable salary scale, and applicable performance measures and metrics for positions in the 24-25 fiscal budget as approved by the city council, approving the updated citywide pay plan to include new positions, headcount change, and approved budget adjustment, providing for implementation, incorporation of recitals, and an effective date.
All right, thank you very much. Madam City Manager, any comments?
Yes, Mayor, good afternoon. We have our Human Resources Director, Maria Jose, here to answer any questions that you may have and go over the positions.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How can I help?
I think that if there's any questions, I believe maybe Vice Mayor Porras would have a question.
Yes.
Or anybody else, since the floor is open.
Just a quick question about the Sergeant at Arms. Through the manager, can we have the chief answer? Or whoever? My only question is, the specific duties and responsibilities of the Sergeant at Arms include coordinating necessary transportation for city officials to meetings and special events. So if you can just elaborate on that. Is it something that every city official, and who are the city officials essentially that are going to receive this transportation? And when, frequency, just, I'd like to know a little bit more. Thank you.
Sure, through the mayor. So it's as needed basis. Like it could be if there's an increased safety and security risk, a threat level, and other matters that can be confidential at this time. But there's a need. The person assigned is available to all the elected officials.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part?
The person designated as a sergeant at arms is available to all the city, to all the elected officials.
So it's just one person? It's one person that would transport or
One
is in
person
charge
will-
of coordinating?
One person will serve as a primary role, and depending on the need, it could be expanded.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you very much. So just for clarification's sake, the positions that have been added, because I believe there was a correction to the memo, it's not an additional 4-person headcount, it's actually 2 positions that are being added.
Yes, that is correct, Madam Mayor. The memo itself states that it's adding 4 to the head count. It's actually, this isn't adding any, actually, the budget added 2.
Correct. So just for clarification, there is 2 new roles that are being added to our positions available within the city. One of them is a position that's just being retitled, but actually already existed and was part of the head count, the original head count. So I don't believe there's anything else that needs to be addressed. The positions that are being created so that they're available is for constituent services. So basically in an effort to meet our commitment to increase constituent requests and services to the public. That's what these positions are here to do, and they're here to serve all of us. So any of us that have any constituent concerns that need to be dealt with can absolutely be dealt with these individuals who will work directly with us on solving the residents' issues and questions or complaints. So that's the purpose of creating these roles, to make sure that residents get adequate and quick response. We're a predominantly Hispanic community, so I think it's important that we have an identified Hispanic constituent service person that will help make sure that these issues and questions that arise are addressed. In a way that they feel comfortable. So that's really what the purpose of these positions are, is to continue servicing the public, which has always been our priority and our commitment to this community. And as far as the other positions that are being reclassified, because they're not new positions in the sense of they're not increasing headcount like the Sergeant at Arms, they're really just to make sure that the roles that are already being in place, like whenever we have some of these events with the Venezuelan community, the chief is very kind to put someone with us to make sure that we feel safe, and there really was no role that was created for that. So in an effort to just make sure we're in line with proper protocol and procedures like every other city, it was important to identify that the city does have a sergeant at arms role, so that anybody that steps into that role when needed on particular basis are covered, that their duties fall under these job classifications. So I think that this is really just a way to clean up the different roles and classifications that exist within the department. So thank you for working on this to HR and the administration and making sure that everything is clarified. If there's no other questions, we need a motion to approve.
I have a question. So we cannot have someone that is bilingual that can do the outreach. We need one that will only speak Spanish and one that will only for English. I mean, here there are many Hispanic people that speak both, like us.
Absolutely, and I believe that they
I'm
will
just trying,
speak both languages.
it's being always a comment that we have to be saving money, and like the vice mayor mentioned, I mean, sometimes we get to saving $2,000 that supposedly is going to affect so much, and I don't see why is it that then we cannot have one person that can do both, that can be bilingual. But, I mean, we understand you have the votes and you can do whatever you want, with the budget, so that's what it is.
Thank you for your opinion, Councilwoman. If
Motion to
there's-
approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
No?
Vice Mayor Porras?
No.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. If there's nothing else at this time, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.